I used to love driving at night. The empty roads, the hush of the world asleep, the feeling that the whole highway belonged to me alone. But that was before I started noticing the billboard, the one that keeps appearing no matter which route I take, always around the midpoint of my trip, rising from the darkness like a sign that was never there before, glowing a little too bright for something so old and weather-worn. And the first time I saw it, I didn't think much of it. Just a faded advertisement that read, "You are not alone out here," in peeling red letters that looked hand-painted, and I laughed because it sounded like a joke someone made to creep out late-night drivers like me. But then I realized I'd passed that exact billboard earlier, miles back. Same broken corner, same torn patch exposing the wooden frame behind it. And I felt this tiny prickle at the base of my neck telling me not to look too long, not to think too hard about it. Just drive and get home. A couple of nights later, I saw it again. Only this time the message had changed. Now it said, "Keep your eyes on the road." The paint fresh and bold like someone had touched it up recently. And I rolled my eyes because of course I was paying attention, but the letters felt like they were staring at me. Like the sign wasn't warning but watching, and I shook the thought away because that's how people spook themselves, by giving meaning to things that don't deserve it. For a while, I managed to forget about the billboard, convincing myself it was some weird coincidence like seeing the same model of car twice and deciding it's following you. But last week I started a new job farther from home, meaning more late drives, and on my first night back on the road I spotted the billboard again. But now the message was different once more, reading, "Do not look at the trees." And the moment I read it, I became painfully aware of the thick wall of forest hugging the road on both sides, branches leaning inward like they were listening, and suddenly I felt silly for having my driver's side window cracked open, so I rolled it up fast, telling myself it was just the wind making those rustling sounds. I pushed on, hands tight around the steering wheel, trying not to glance sideways, trying not to imagine shapes hidden between trunks and leaves. But then something in the corner of my eye moved. Just a tiny flicker, too quick to be anything but a trick of the light, yet my breath hitched anyway, and the trees outside felt closer. Too close. Like if I opened the window again, they would reach inside without hesitation. So I focused straight ahead, whispering that it was nothing, that it was just night doing what night does, turning everything strange and unfamiliar. The clock on my dashboard flickered even though I knew my car had no electrical problems, and the radio cut out mid-song, replaced by silence so thick that the hum of the engine sounded like a shout. And then, far up the highway, another glow emerged, familiar and unwelcome, the billboard once again. But even from a distance, I could see the letters were different, bigger, bolder, and when I got close enough to read them, my stomach tightened, because now it said, "Do not stop for anyone," and the paint looked wet, like it had been slapped on seconds before I arrived, dripping slightly down the wood. Still gleaming under the half-dead lights, I sped up without meaning to, because who puts up a billboard like that? Who decides to warn drivers of such a thing? Unless it wasn't a warning but an instruction. The kind you only give if there's a reason people would stop, if something out there might try to make them. I told myself I was being jumpy, that someone probably thought it was funny, some roadside art project meant to go viral. But part of me knew better. Part of me felt watched, not in a metaphorical way, but in a very real sense, like something kept pace with me in the trees, something that knew the forest better than roads and headlights ever could. The highway kept stretching ahead, but the distance felt wrong, the miles not matching what I remembered, like the road was bending itself into a loop. And by the time I noticed the gas gauge was dropping faster than usual, it was already too late, because there are no gas stations on that stretch at night. Everything closes early, and the dark has a way of swallowing exits and side roads until all that's left is a thin ribbon of pavement, and whatever waits beside it. I tried calling my friend to stay calm, but of course there was no service, not even a single bar, and the silence outside the car pressed in harder, like a weight resting on the roof, and every few minutes the headlights caught the glint of eyes between the trees, always too high off the ground to be an animal I recognized. Always gone the second I tried to confirm what I'd seen. My knuckles went white around the wheel, and I kept my foot pressed steady on the gas, counting the seconds between breaths. Telling myself that the billboard had said not to stop, and maybe that meant not to slow down either, just drive. Keep going, get home. Then the headlights flickered. Once, twice, and the engine stuttered like it was choking on air, and panic shot through me because the billboard had warned me, had tried to prepare me, but nothing prepares you. For the moment the car beneath you decides it can't save you anymore, and you feel it losing the fight against the night. The engine died before I could even pull over, the wheels slowing, the car drifting to a silent stop exactly between two stretches of thick forest, no other vehicles in sight. And the night immediately felt louder, like something had been waiting for the noise to go away so it could get closer without competition. I locked the doors right away, shaking, staring at the road ahead and willing the engine to magically restart, but the ignition only clicked uselessly, over and over, and I kept saying, "Please, please, please," under my breath, like the car could hear me, like it needed encouragement. But all I got back was the sound of leaves brushing together. Too softly to be wind, more like fingertips dragging through foliage, testing distance, testing patience. I didn't plan to look at the trees, I really didn't. But fear has a way of tilting your head for you, a way of forcing your eyes toward what they shouldn't see. And in the darkness between two trunks, I saw a face, pale and still, almost human, but not enough. Too symmetrical, too smooth. And its eyes were perfectly round circles of darkness, not reflecting my headlights. Just absorbing them completely like small black holes, I froze, because moving felt like giving away permission. Like anything I did would be considered an invitation. And the thing did not blink, did not tilt its head, did not even breathe. It just watched, as if disappointed that I noticed it too early. I jerked my head forward again, staring straight through the windshield, heart hammering, telling myself it was nothing, a trick of fear, because fear can show you faces where there are none. But some part of me knew the truth, and that truth made the silence feel like pressure against the glass, a slow reminder that nothing stops things that don't need roads. Minutes passed, though each one felt like an hour, and then something tapped on the rear passenger window, gentle and polite, like a friend asking to be let in. And for a heartbeat, I almost looked back, almost turned to see what wanted me to acknowledge it, but every warning screamed in my skull, "Do not stop for anyone, do not look at the trees, keep your eyes on the road, you are not alone out here." And suddenly everything made awful sense. The progression of messages like steps in a process, like someone, or something, had been trying to get me ready for this exact moment. The tapping continued, steady and patient, and a soft voice called out from the darkness, sounding almost familiar, like someone I once knew, asking if I was okay, asking if I needed help, and it was such a perfectly normal request that I almost unlocked the door, but then the voice said my name, and I realized I had never given my name to anyone since leaving work, had not spoken to a single person all night. And I bit down on a scream because the thing outside wasn't guessing. It knew I kept both hands on the wheel, knuckles burning, refusing to look, refusing to answer, and slowly the tapping shifted to a scraping sound, fingertips gliding along the window in long, deliberate arcs, tracing a shape I didn't want to interpret, not while it was being drawn only inches from my head. The billboard hadn't told me what to do next, hadn't given me a rule for when the car fails, when the voice knows your name, when the trees stop pretending. So I stayed still, breathing shallow, listening as the scraping faded and the forest went quiet again. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels like held breath. I don't know how long I sat there, maybe minutes, maybe hours, but eventually a glow appeared in the distance, too white and clean to be moonlight. And for the first time all night, I felt hope break through the fear, because headlights meant another car, another human being, someone who could help me get out of here, maybe even follow me home. The vehicle slowed as it approached, a large van with no visible markings, and it rolled to a stop beside me, idling. The engine a constant low rumble I clung to like a lifeline, and the passenger side window rolled down just enough for the driver to lean toward the gap, and I saw the silhouette of a man. No face yet, just a shape. But that was enough to make tears well in my eyes, because a shape behind glass means the world is still normal somewhere. "You need a hand?" he called out, voice calm but a little too flat, and I almost answered yes, almost reached for the lock, but something about him felt off. The way he didn't shine a flashlight. Didn't step out of the van, didn't ask what was wrong with my car, just asked if I needed a hand like he already knew I was stuck. I forced myself to glance at his face, because I needed to see a human expression, something real, something grounded. But the second I did, my mouth went dry, because his features didn't settle right, didn't match the light, shifting slightly like I was looking through heat waves, as if the shape was trying to decide which face to wear for me. He smiled then, wide and hollow, and said my name just like the voice from the trees. And I knew then that stopping for anyone didn't just mean strangers on the road. It meant help that arrived too willingly, too perfectly timed, too eager to make you step outside the only protection you have left. He didn't push it, didn't insist, just kept smiling that wrong smile, waiting. And when I didn't move, he finally said something that chilled me worse than everything else combined. "You have to get out of the car eventually." And then he rolled up the window and drove away into the dark like he hadn't just promised I wasn't leaving this place alive. The forest remained quiet for a long moment after, like it was giving me time to think, to absorb the truth. And then the trees rustled again, not from wind, but from movement, coordinated and confident. And I realized the thing that had watched me earlier had never left. It had just been waiting for me to make a mistake. So now I'm here, locked in my silent car, the battery dying, the night growing heavier, and I'm whispering every warning the billboards ever gave me, hoping that if I obey every single one, if I don't look, don't open the door, don't acknowledge the voices pretending to care about me, maybe the sun will come, maybe morning will push back whatever the darkness hides, maybe I'll get to drive away and pretend this road is safe again. But as I write this down, as the cold creeps into the car and the tapping starts again on the glass, softer this time, closer to my ear, I can't stop thinking about one last message the billboard hasn't shown me yet, the one I know is coming, the one that feels inevitable. And when I close my eyes, I can almost see it glowing red in the night ahead. There is no going home.